All right. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Matthew Gargano, and I will be your instructor for this career development course. So, welcome to E242, Section 14 for career development for Term 2. If you see me looking over to the other side of the screen, it's because I've got a split screen and I've got the course shell set up on my left because I want to make sure that I cover everything and that I'm thorough. So again, my name is Matthew Gargano. I am very, very excited to be your instructor, your facilitator, and your tour guide through this experience. A little bit about me. In addition to what I listed in the course announcements, so if you haven't gone there first, you probably did go there first in order to click on the link to get here, but just making sure you did go to the course announcements because there's pertinent information there, and then there's also obviously pertinent information here that you won't find in the course announcement. So, a couple reasons for doing the video. One, I always like to, we're in an online course, and I always like to be able to introduce myself as the person, so I know that videos are a great way to do it, so you can get to know me a little bit better. As I stated in my intro or in my announcement, I've been in higher education for over 16 years. I love helping to develop students, develop people. I also have my own consulting business. I have a company that I specifically offer my services and products in life coaching and consulting as well. What else? I do a lot of things. Again, they're all tied around that common theme of people development. Obviously, I mentioned I'm a father, I'm a grandfather, I'm also a pastor. So again, I have my hand, I'm privileged to have my hand in many things, all around the common theme, which is my passions for helping to develop people step into the best version of themselves. And career development is no different. And a lot of people, a lot of students, when they take this course, by the end of the course, they've learned so much more about career development than what they originally envisioned. And that's my hope for you too. My hope for you is to be able to provide you with as comprehensive perspective on career development as possible. It's not just, oh, I got to take this course because it's required so I can build a resume and connect all the dots and cross all the T's. That's a tiny little pinpoint of what career development is. Career development is about building and stepping into your professional identity. And it's everything, and I don't have time to go into it tonight, but career development is everything and every aspect that has to do with creating, building, and operating in the professional identity that you want to create and you want others to perceive you as. So it's a billion times more than just that tiny little dot of making sure you know how to create a resume, you know how to do an interview. So again, by the end of this course, this 5.5 weeks, I'm believing that you're going to just gain so much more value. And part of what I want to do is I want to make you stand out above everybody else. So what's going to make you stand out above the other 500 people that are submitting their resume? I want to position you to be as successful as possible. And again, not only to step into your best version of you, but also step into your best version of your professional you. You know, I also advise on companies and hiring. And I'll tell you, the average time that an employer takes to look at a resume is about 10 seconds. When I get a pile of resumes, it literally takes me about 10 seconds to determine whether that resume is going to get put in the no further consideration, or that resume is going to be moved over to, I want to further check this person out. Think about it. 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I just scanned a person's resume within that time period, and I determined whether, not interested in further consideration, or I want to move you to the further consideration pile. So I want to give you some tips and tricks and techniques and strategies where you can put yourself above the rest and make you stand out and help you to be unique on paper first. Because your resume is your written interview, so to speak. It is your first written impression of who you are, and it's your ticket that, if written correctly, is going to give you access to taking yourself to that next level of a person-to-person interview where you can really sell yourself. So anyway, that's just a little teaser right now. So I want to go through the course really quickly. And I said good evening because I'm actually doing this recording Sunday evening. So whenever you log in, you'll be logging in. The course opens up on the 7th. So on the 7th, you will be, I'll make sure I get my date right, people. Yes, Wednesday the 7th, you will be logging in and accessing this course. So what do you need to know? First of all, make sure when you go to the your course homepage, obviously you've already would have had to read the announcement in order to be able to click on the video link to get you here. It's important that you watch this video in its entirety. Let me tell you why. I spend a lot of time creating this video, and I do a fresh video every term, so it's not stale. But I do a lot of time in spending on this video because I want to lay the foundation to help you be successful in this course. Foundations are very important. Let's look at a house, for example. There are a lot of things that can be wrong with a house that a city will not necessarily condemn the house for. You can have a leaky roof. That doesn't mean that the city will definitely come in and condemn the house. You could have plumbing that isn't working properly, and that doesn't necessarily mean that the city's going to come in and automatically condemn the house. But the one thing that you can't have, or the city will come in and condemn that house with a quickness, is a crack in the foundation. Because the foundation is such that it must be stable and strong and secure, because everything else is built off of that strong foundation. So foundation is very important. And I say the same thing not only in the house, but I use the house analogy to say that your personal foundation is extremely important and your professional foundation is extremely important. So I also lay the foundation, take the time to lay a strong, stable foundation at the beginning, so then you are able to build upon and be successful in what you need to do and what you need to learn and what you need to operate in throughout this course. That's why I spend a lot of time doing this, because I don't go back and do it again. Once we do it, we move on. So that being said, you want to make sure that, number one, instructor information. Again, my name is Professor Matthew Gargano. As I said in the intro, you can call me Professor, you can call me Prof, you can call me Professor Matt, Professor Gargano. It's whatever you're comfortable with. My phone number listed is my cell phone number. So as I indicated, and again, read the instructor information. Email is always the quickest way I'm gonna be able to respond to you. I check my email multiple times a day. There's about approximately 3 to 4 windows of time that I've slotted to check my email. So sending an email, you're more than likely going to get the quickest response possible. Very rarely do we need to have a phone conversation. Always try the email first. A lot of times it's unnecessary to have an actual phone conversation. 99.9% of your questions can be accomplished through an email message. However, if you feel the need to obviously call me, you can obviously call me, but notice that my response time with returning and responding to phone calls is much more limited than email. Also, as I indicated, this is my cell phone. So you can text me with a quick, very quick, note the word quick question. If you have a very quick question, not a whole book or a whole narrative, then you want to do an email. If you have a really quick get in, get out question, go ahead and text me. As I stated in my instructor information, identify who you are. I get a lot of, given all of the pots that my hands are in, I get a lot of text messages. So in order for me to most effectively serve you, I need to know who you are. State your name, state the course, and so I know who I'm talking with, and I can make sure that I'm as responsive as possible and as effective as possible. One of the things that I want you to work on is being intentional with your time. That's so important, and we'll talk about that later on in life. Make every minute matter. This being said, please note that I'm not available after 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I shut off all technology. 8 p.m., I shut off all technology, okay? Just note for you guys, you really should, before you go to bed, you should shut down all technology, TV, and just allow that last hour for other things, such as reading, such as other things that interest you. You're going to be a more productive individual. Most nights I'm in bed by 9 o'clock, but I'm up at 5 a.m. and I have a very productive day from when I get up at 5 a.m. in the morning until when I'm done and I shut everything down at 8 p.m. That being said, I also am unavailable. So if you text me after 8 p.m., I'll get back to you the next morning. I'm gonna try to do a time management. One of the recorded live classrooms that I will do is probably going to be on time management if I can make it work. People really don't understand time management. Once you get a full understanding of time management, it'll revolutionize your life. That being said, I am unavailable from Friday sundown through Saturday sundown. That is my day of rest. Very important as part of time management. Every single person should take 1 day of rest. And I don't care, people say, oh, I got a family, I got this. So do I. Make that time, invest that in yourself. You are worth it to have that 1 day where you have that 1 day of rest. For me, my 1 day of rest is Friday sundown through Saturday sundown. So that includes, I take a break from all work-related activities, and that includes email communication, text communications as well. So just so you know that. Moving on, I got my little checklist here because I want to make sure I cover everything. Two really, really valuable things. Make sure you print out your course syllabus. Your course syllabus has all of the information that you need. That again, that I haven't covered in the course announcements, that I haven't even covered in the video, is covered in the course syllabus. So between the course announcements, between this video, between the course syllabus, between the rubrics, between the getting started, you've got a complete picture. So you have everything you need to be more than successful in this course. But please make sure that you go through the course syllabus so you know what is due when. And also use the course calendar. I've taken a lot of time to make sure I put everything in that course calendar so you know what is due when. Do not email and do not text me asking me when something due, because I'm going to say to you, look at the course calendar. And it's not to be mean, but I want to teach you to be intentional with your time. So I take the time to set everything up, and I want to help you to be intentional with your time and make every moment matter. So everything you need to know in terms of what assignments are due when, you just need to go to the course calendar and it will tell you. Now, also, please know, I keep looking at the timer because I try to be mindful with my time and your time as well, because your time is equally as important and valuable as my time is. So for the initial week one initial discussion posts, it is due Saturday by midnight. And your reply post is also due Saturday by midnight. Now, that's just for week one, since we're starting the course on a Wednesday. just for the first week, your initial discussion post and your reply post are both due Saturday midnight. That being said, try to then post obviously before Saturday midnight so there's enough initial posts where people can reply and have meaningful conversations and replies for that. Moving forward, your initial post will be due Tuesday by midnight, and your response or your reply will be due by Saturday midnight. Again, all laid out in the calendar. The only other exception is your last post, which is be due the last day of class, which is the 17th, which is a Saturday. So again, other than with exception for week 1 in the last week of class, your initial posts are due Tuesday, and your replies are due Saturday. Regarding your other course assignments, and again, all laid out on the course calendar, they are all due by Sunday. So your written assignments, which includes your live classroom assignments, are all due Sunday midnight. The only exception to that is the last day of class. All of your assignments are due. That's that Saturday, March 17th. Everything is due. Your discussion post replies and all of your written assignments, including your live classroom, are all due that Saturday by midnight on 3/17. Also, print out in addition, or print out or just review it. Some people are online people, some people are paper people. Just have that copy, review it, and have that copy accessible for your syllabus and the getting started, because both of those, the syllabus and the getting started, are going to be your roadmap, so you know what's going on week by week. And not only is it broken down nicely as far as what is due and how much time it should take you, you've got the whole entire 5.5 weeks. So you're able to plan properly because you already know 5.5 weeks out what is due when and approximately how much time everything should take you, which is all listed in the getting started. Let's talk about discussions right quick. So you've got the there's 3 different types of discussions. You've got the student lounge. The student lounge is just for you. That is your student sort of virtual hangout. So you want to go in, just like in a traditional classroom, students come into class, hey, you get to know each other, you have conversations, what's going on, you get to know people. Well, that function is served in the student lounge. I don't go into the student lounge very often because it's not my hangout spot. It's your hangout spot, and I want to give you guys the freedom and the autonomy to have your conversations in the student lounge. Now, I did post a welcome message in the student lounge about me to serve as a model and example for you. Although I'm not requiring it, I'm highly encouraging that each of you take the time to go in and post a little bit about yourself in the student lounge. It does a couple things. It allows me to get to know you a little bit better, and it allows each of your classmates to get to know you a little bit better. Again, not requiring it, but highly suggesting it to sort of help this create. I'm all about creating a classroom of community. Community is very important, and I like to create community wherever I go. So that'll be helpful. Again, though, don't post things to me in the student lounge, because other than the first week where I'll just be sort of reading a little bit about you, I'm not in the student lounge. So if you post questions to me in the student lounge, I probably won't see them and I probably won't respond. Where you do want to post questions to me is in the general course question discussion. Okay, I also posted in there. Now here's the thing about the general course question. The general course question discussion is if you have a general question about this course. So if you have a general question about E242 section 14 career development, you would post it in the general course question area. That being said, every student in the course can read it. So the purpose of this is if you have a general question about the course, somebody else may also have that same question. So by posting in the general course, somebody else may also have the same question. They read yours and like, oh, I have that same question, and then I'll go ahead and answer it. So big caveat. If you want to ask me a question that you don't want the world to see, email me one-on-one, because again, the general course question discussion post is everybody's able to see that. Please don't put general course questions that I've already covered in this video, in the syllabus, in the getting started, in the calendar, in the rubric, because I'm simply going to refer you to look here, look there, look there, look where you need to do. So just to know that. Then, of course, you've got your discussions threads that are module specific. So that are where you'll go into your module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then that's where you will read what is required of you in terms of what you need to post, and then also replying to that post as well. Now, I want to talk to you. I want to move over to grading. Very, very important. I have, and you probably can't see this well from here, but that's all right. I have spent a lot of time and care creating a rubric for every single one of your written assignments. Okay, so when I say written assignments, I'm not talking about your discussion posts, and I'm not talking about the live classroom. I am talking about within each module where you have a written assignment that is due. I have created a very, very, very comprehensive rubric. I've taken a lot of time and care because I want you to know what is expected of you so that you can be successful. I believe that expectations are incredibly important. How do you know how to act and how do you know what to produce if you don't know what's expected of you? So expectations are really, really important. So for each, again, written assignments only, not discussion posts and not live classrooms, but for each written assignment, when you click on the assignment and you go to do it, in the upper left-hand screen, it'll say View Rubric, and then you'll click on it. And when you click on it, excuse me, you'll see the rubric detail. In the rubric detail, I do not hide anything. I let you know, I'm a big believer in transparency. I let you know full force. This is what I'm expecting of you. This is how many points you're getting. I'm all about equipping you and giving you all the information and the resources that you need to be successful. Because at the end of the day, I want you to feel good about this course, and I want you to be successful, and I want you to be able to concentrate on building that subject matter and building the skills and mastering the content that you need. I'm not a gotcha guy. I've never been a gotcha guy. I want to give you everything full force. So you already know there's below expectations, meets expectations, and exceeds expectations. Within each of these expectation columns, I give you the various areas that you will be graded on. And it's very simple. It tells you what, based on what you hit in each one of these areas, whether will you earn a below expectations, a meet expectations, or it exceeds expectations. Very simple. So I say this to say I give you everything out front, open book, everything. So in terms of your feedback for your grading, understand this. This rubric, each rubric is your personal feedback, because what I do is I go in, right? And you'll see it when you go in there, but I'll click on each of the columns so you know, click, 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 click. That's your individualized feedback. When I'm looking at your assignment, I've got the same rubric that I'm using to grade that I provided for you. So I'm sitting there going click, 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 click. And in addition, so that's your feedback. I may or may not, underneath each square where I click, I may provide a little bit extra clarification. And then I possibly may provide some overall general feedback at the bottom. This being said, if you don't see any additional information in the individual boxes within each square or the overall feedback, you're still getting individual feedback. Because by clicking in those boxes or those squares with nothing additional required, I'm letting you know this is where you scored within each. So again, I don't believe in being a gotcha person. I give you everything you need. So that is your individual individual feedback. So when you get your grade, you'll be able to click on the graded rubric, and you will be able to see exactly what you hit and what you didn't hit. I had a thought. I lost it. Oh, very important. Thought came back. Please know when you're building your resume, it is progressive and it is scaffolding, meaning that the first builds on the second, builds on the third, builds on the fourth. You are creating your resume step by step by step. So in the first week, you're starting at the very first element. Then you're building on the element and doing the second element and the third. I say this to say, please make sure you take those feedback in the rubric seriously, because your subsequent grade is based on the changes you made. If I gave you any changes, you'll know. I'll say, if I do say below expectations, then I'll show you, you need to do this or you need to do this. So please know you need to go back and fix what I asked you to fix in the previous section, to include it in the next iteration or the next weeks, because it builds on it. So if I asked you to fix something in your objective or your contact block for week 2 and you didn't, then I'm going to have to take points off. Now, this being said, I'd rather you focus on the content. So for the first week and even the second week, what I give you the opportunity to do is I'll provide a lot more comments than is reflected in your grade. Okay, so what I mean by that is I'll give you a lot more feedback, but won't necessarily reflect that in your grade. I tend to be a little bit more lenient up front with your grade by giving you the feedback, but the expectation is that you then incorporate that feedback by week 3. Now, this being said, I'm not a pushover. If you give me nothing, then your grade is going to be reflected as nothing. If I can tell that you made a concerted effort, that you really tried, then I'm going to give you the feedback, but I'll be more lenient on the grade. If I think you're playing me and you really didn't do, if you did nothing, then you'll get a 0 grade for that section. Or if I think you're playing me and you made like less than a minimal effort to throw something together, then your grade's going to reflect that. But if I can tell by your effort that you really did try, then I'm going to grade according to that effort, and I'll give you the extra feedback that you need to incorporate. Because at the end of the day, again, I want you to have a resume that's outstanding. I want you to have a resume that speaks to the person that you are, that gets you in the door. I want you to have a living, breathing, unique, colorful, flavorful resume. Now let's talk about discussion posts. For your discussion posts, what I expect you to do is I expect you to read the elements that you are required to address in the discussion post. So when you're reading what is required of you, the elements mean all of the specific components that you need to address in your discussion post. You need to address them in your discussion post and write a thoughtful, well-crafted discussion post. And please do not, some people, even adults, write like they text. This is a professional course. This is career development. Do not write like some of you text. I need you to write professionally. I need you to capitalize your I's. I need you to use complete sentences. Write your professional discussion post. When you are replying to a discussion post, simply saying, I agree, great point, great answer, way to go, is not going to cut the mustard. I need you to add value in your response to a fellow learner's discussion, because you want to make what they do better. That being said, I don't want you to criticize. I want you to build up, not tear down. This is about building up. So I want you to respond in a constructive way that helps add value and encouragement, not fake and phony encouragement, genuine, authentic encouragement to help make what they wrote better. Okay, so your discussion posts are graded on 2 main categories. 1, the quality of your initial post, and 2, the quality of your reply to at least one other learner. So you must reply to at least one other of your fellow classmates or learners. Very important. You could have the most amazing initial post ever. But if you don't reply to at least one person, or your reply is mediocre, then you're probably going to get a 50% on that. So just to let you know. Also, so you know, I will be in the discussion post weekly. I'm checking the time out here. I will be in the discussion post weekly, and I'll be spot checking. So I usually respond to approximately 3 discussion posts each week. So if I didn't respond to yours, please know it's nothing intentional. It's just, again, I randomly will go through and sort of spot check and pick usually 3, and I'll respond to. This being said, I always wait until after the deadline for, well, not just say after. I wait until close to or after the deadline to respond for the reply deadline, because I don't want my post to sort of influence other people before they had a chance to respond. So very, very important. Regarding the grading too, please know that I start grading on Sunday evening. So I start grading on Sunday, but please also know that I have until each Friday to get the grades done. So I generally, like I said, I like to start grading as early as that Sunday to get you that rapid feedback. But know that I have until that following Friday to respond. So in other words, your first set of assignments, say on a normal, well, let's just say your first set of assignments are due this Saturday, right? So I have technically until that following Friday to get your grades done. And then Sunday, I have until the following Friday. No, I have that long of a time to respond, but know that I try to get the grading done earlier than that. But don't blast me if you haven't gotten a grade from me before Friday, because I do have until Friday. But like I said, I want you guys to have as timely a feedback as possible. So I do start grading on Sunday, and I try to get everything wrapped up usually by Wednesday, by Thursday, just so you know. Let me see. Is there anything else I want to talk about right now? I got notes here, people. I'm big on notes. So I talked about the course syllabus. I talked about the instructor information. Live classrooms. So here's what I do. This is very, very important. So listen to me, because this is your assignment for your first live classroom. I hold live classrooms on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. This being said, your first live classroom obviously will start next Tuesday for Module 2. So you will have a live classroom assignment before we have our first live classroom session. Your first live classroom assignment is due. It's due by Sunday. Sorry, I just want to make sure I wasn't confusing that with your written assignments. And actually, all of your written assignments for your first week, I misspoke. Other than your discussion posts, all of your first week's written assignments are due Sunday, except for the last set, which is due the last night of class. So this being said, your first set of discussion posts and replies discussion posts due this coming Saturday. Moving forward, it follows the Tuesday-Saturday rule. All of your written assignments, including your live classroom assignment, are all due this Sunday and every Sunday after that, except for the last Sunday, by midnight. And again, all this is clearly laid out in the course calendar, and in the course calendar as well. But your first live classroom module assignment for Module 1 live classroom is, I want you to tell me what are your top 3 topics or areas that have to do with career development that you want me to cover in subsequent live classroom sessions. The reason why I do this is because I want to make these live classroom sessions as meaningful as possible for you. So those hour-long live classroom sessions is that prime real estate where I can give you the best that I can give you in terms of what you are asking of me. So I want you to think about, don't just like, oh, let me just write something down. This is your opportunity, all right? As your career development coach, let's say, free of charge, well, not free of charge, I mean, you're paying tuition, but you know what I'm saying, where you get to ask me up to 3 areas or topics or areas of focus that have to do with career development. It could be, you know, how do I build confidence? What are the best interview questions, the worst interview questions? How should I dress? Is there anything I should avoid in an interview? What should I do beforehand? How do I avoid being nervous? Any nonverbals. So anyway, I don't want this to limit you. I'm just trying to give you some ideas. You think about, as somebody who wants to begin to build or continue to build or redefine your professional identity. You can be a traditional age college student that's just starting out and you're starting to think about creating your professional identity. You could be somebody who's been in the workforce for a while and is going back to school to change career paths. You want to recreate or redefine your professional identity. You could be somebody that's been out of the workforce for a while, that you want to get back into the workforce, and you want to know how to do that. So you can even ask questions like, how do I recover? How do I explain when I've been terminated from a position? Or what if I've been out of the workforce because of sickness or other reasons? How do I respond to those questions? What are the best questions to ask? What are the worst questions to ask? What not to ask? What not to answer? Things of that nature. So your first assignment for your module 1 live classroom assignment, and you go to your module 1 live classroom, click on begin, you'll see what I've stated here, what I need you to do, and then you answer the question. I want your top 3 questions that you want me to then address and go into more detail in the live classroom sessions. Now know this, I'm not going to put you on blast. So I'm not going to say so-and-so had a great question. I'm not going to specifically name names, because some of the questions might be, I got terminated from a position or my job. How do I explain that? Or, I've been out of the workforce for health reasons. How do I explain that? Or I have a history of not such good things. How do I explain that if I'm asked, have you ever been convicted of a felony, or et cetera, et cetera? So I say this to say, I want you to be comfortable in asking me whatever you want to ask me, and knowing that I'm not going to attach a name to the question, because there may be other people that have that same question as you do. So very, very important. What you put into these questions is what you'll get back out. So again, your first live classroom module 1 assignment for your live classroom is to go in there and to give me the 3 topics or questions or areas that you want me to cover in a subsequent live classroom session. And I will do that. The first 3 live classroom sessions, beginning with the first one on Tuesday and then the following Tuesday and the one after that, I'm going to compile the questions, and I'm going to sort of correlate the ones that are similar, and I'm going to sit here, at least for the first 2, maybe 3, depending on how we got, and I'm just going to go into detail in responding to the questions that you have. Again, as I stated in the live classroom block, and again, make sure you review the live classroom session information. You've got the web link. I've got the information about the live classroom session. You are not required to attend these live, okay? I understand we're all busy people, and the reason why you took an online class is because you have other things going on. You are not expected to log in live. In fact, in the past, the majority of students don't log in, and I'm okay. If nobody logs in, I'm okay with that. I'm still gonna do the live classroom session, and I'm gonna record it. So once I have it recorded, I'm gonna repost the recorded link to the live classroom session, so you are then able to review and watch the live classroom recorded session at your leisure, because the subsequent sessions you will need to then answer the subsequent model live classroom assignments. Now, I said the first 3. The last 2 are going to be pre-recorded sessions, or the last one is actually going to be a little bit of a feedback. So that handles it on the live classroom, and I think I covered everything I need to cover. So again, I'm excited for you guys to log in on Wednesday and just begin to just step into this experience that I hope I create for you as an amazing experience for career development. In the meantime, feel free to call on me. Feel free to leverage my expertise, and I'll help you the best way I can help you, because I want this to be a memorable, not just a memorable course for you. I want this to be a memorable experience for you, and I want this to help to launch you into the where you want to be, above and beyond where you want to be in terms of your professional aspirations. So, on that note, have a good day and get ready, get set, go.